So this is 48.78%. I make the third call. After 5 minutes, we will start our meeting with the number of people assisting the assembly. Okay, thank you. Same number, 16 owners, 1 absentee, and 363 developers, for a total of 380, 48.78%. So this General Assembly meeting is now called to order. The next item in the agenda is to the assignment of the clerks. At this time, I ask for 2 volunteers from the owners to become the clerks that will count the votes once we go for the voting of any item in the agenda. I need 2 volunteers. Please raise your hand, whoever wants to be. We need this because we have to prove that it was the number of votes that were counted. Okay, we have 1 over there. Second, please. We need your help, please. Another person. Excuse me? This is just to count. Yes, it's just to count the number of ballots that are there. It's around 16. Keep it under 100. Okay. Okay. We have the 2 clerks. Thank you very much for your participation. Dame los nombres nada más, por favor. Y ahorita te la regreso. Okay, Mr. Michael Mahoney and Rose Wilkins. Thank you very much. The next one item is to approve the November 24 ordinary assembly meeting minutes registered in Mexicali and posted in the HO website at www.eldoradoranch.com.mx, where all you can see them, read them, and they are already there. So if you are in agreement to approve them, raise your hand, please. Only 2 people? Or you haven't read them, or what? Those not in favor of approving them? Okay, so it is approved. There was not enough. Okay, they are approved. Now I want to introduce the current supervisory committee members, which are Mr. Tony Reyes and Alan Steiner. Tony Reyes is here. Alan is not here, or I don't see him. Is he here, Tony? Okay, very well. So they are the supervisory committee here now. We're represented by Tony. The next one is the supervisory committee report. Are you going to present it, Tony? Okay, please come to the right side of the saloon and go ahead. The microphone is over there with our activity people.
Good morning. I first wanted to say, have you guys all got our email? Is that everybody? Because we've been going back and forth. I've been elected your supervisor, and I have most of the contact information, but some people aren't getting our emails. So my report is just, we held a meeting the other day on the 24th, and we voted out the administration because I've been a supervisor for 2 years, and they just don't cooperate with the residents. asking for financial stuff, making requests for certain things. And, I didn't even want to be up here or doing any of this, but all the irregularities, once I got to be a supervisor, all the stuff that I saw, it just made me like, we need to change. The administrator that we have now is appointed by the developer.
Excuse me. I have to interrupt you, Tony. This is the report of the activities
I'm giving the report.
as a supervisor, not what you are intended, not being a supervisor.
Well, I'm telling him what I saw, what I've been seeing as a supervisor.
Yes, but let me tell you this. This is not an item that has to be discussed here.
So I'll close it. But anyway, we voted the administrator out, and we got a new administrator in. And if you haven't got my emails, I can give you a copy of a handout. And they don't want me to say anything. So, it's basically, they do what they want with our money. And that's why nobody's here. Most of the residents, we had a meeting and we discussed everything. We voted them out. We got a new administration in there, and we're going to move forward with it. And it's all by the law of Baja California law. So,
okay, Tony. We are repeating again what you already said.
Whoever hasn't got a copy, if you raise your hand, I'll give you a copy of it.
You can go with him after the meeting and take the copies if you want. That's your desire. Yes. Un micrófono, por favor. He can go. You can make the question.
It's for Tony.
Oh, to him? Then wait until the end of the meeting, please.
Oh, no, that's what I asked. Can I ask from his presentation a question?
The thing is this, the presentation has to be about, we have been working the whole year. So the report from the supervisor is what had been doing during the whole year. For example, when I give my report about what the HOA has been doing and where the money has been spent, I present a screenshot of all activities that we have been doing during the year. And we present it 3 times a year. First in February, what we have done from November to February. In June, what we have done from February to June. In September, what we have done from June to September. And at this meeting, the whole year, what we did. Now, about transparency and information, the supervisors receive around 41 reports each month with all the activity that the HOA has been doing. And they were invited to come to the offices. They require paperwork. We show it. They saw it. And that's it. So there's transparency there. Let's go with our meeting, and in the questions and answers, we will talk more about this. Okay. The next thing is nomination and selection of one supervisory committee member. In this period, Tony's period as a supervisor comes to an end because he has been serving 2 years. So we never received his requirement to participate again, so we don't have it. And that way he cannot be voted. Another thing is that he hasn't paid his dues since June of this year. And that's a requirement of a supervisor. Not have any debt in dues and not have any fines with the TRC. So right now he's delinquent, so even if he is proposed, we cannot accept him as a candidate because he owes dues. Now, in the Ventana del Mar, we can nominate, or you can nominate somebody from the audience to become a supervisor. We haven't received any candidacy by mail, so at this time I open the floor for nominations. If you want to nominate somebody, you can do it. The only thing that has to be done is go with Jose. He will check up the record of the people who is recommended and to see if he has all his dues paid, if he doesn't have fines with the TRC. And then we will ask the candidate proposed to come to the front, present himself, say his record, or his resume about what he had been doing, what will be his wish to become a supervisor, and then we will vote to elect the people, the person. So do you want to nominate somebody? If at this moment we don't have anybody, there is still Alan Steiner as supervisor. He is for another year. He's not here, so I cannot comment with him what he wants to do or not. But then we will go ahead with our meeting. The next one is presenting the expenses and budget for 2025. The expenses of the year 2024 and the budget for 2025. For this, I will go to the front. Zoom it out a little bit, please. That I can see the portion. Okay, perfect. Okay, this is the budget that we all sent to you by mail. We have 4 columns, as you can see. This is the budget of 2025 that we presented last year in 2024 for this year. This is the projection number that we are expecting to finish this year, and this is the budget for 2026. Go to the bottom, please, Christine. All the way? Oh, yes. Yeah, all the way. The first thing I want to let you know and mark is this budget has nothing in increase in dues, 0 this year. You know this cannot go forever, but this year we make an extra effort to not increase the dues, so to make it easier for this year, for everybody. Details on the document can be found at www.eldoradoranchhoa.com.mx. There are all these small tabs in the bottom. You can open them, and we come back to the top, please, Christine. Like you can see, this is the summary budget. This is the whole thing of the year. And then they will come all the tabs, general maintenance, for example, general administrative. So you can see all the lines of the budget. Income for 2025 budget was $745,000. We expect to finish with $655,000. The proposed budget for next year is $655,000. Other income, this is the apportation that the Las Villas do to the expenses of La Ventana del Mar by the Indiviso. So $127,212 in 2025. This is the expected number that we expect to finish, which is the same number because this doesn't change during the year. And for next year, the same amount of money. Estimated collections, $56,700. We are collecting $43,700 this year. And for the next year, our expectation is 45,000. TRC revenue, 8,000 for 2025. For the budget, we are finishing at around $6,000. For next year, $8,000. Resort fee, 5,000. The budget, 5,000, the estimated ending of the year, 8,000 for next year. Expenses, general administrative, salaries and administration cost, the budget 167,426. The expected amount of money for the end of the year, 156,424. And in next year, 158,433. Maintenance, 1,944. Expected number by the end of the year, 1,600. For next year, 1,600. Supplies, 389 budget. We expect to finish in 380. For next year, 380. Utilities, 15,361. 14,721 for the end of the year, and 14,733 for next year. This is the tax that we pay when we buy gasoline, oil, whatever expenses we do. General maintenance, please move it up. Administration, 207,889. For the end of the year, 199,202. For next year, 186,160. Sewage treatment plant, 27,240. In the budget, 21,000, the expected amount in the end of the year, 275. And 25,443 for next year. Maintenance. Budget, 20,319. Expected amount of money by the end of the year, 17,853. And next year, 50,967. Pool expenses, 85,241 in the budget. By the end of the year, 44,812. And 21,600 by the next year. Supplies, 7,777. And by the end of the year, 9,896. And by next year, 10,026. Utilities, 36,652. By the end of the year, 34,739. And for next year, 35,000. The IVA again, which is the tax that we pay in all the supplies we buy. Activities. In administration, 21,143. By the end of this year, 11,444. Next year, 12,162. Supplies. Budget, 2,041. This year, by the end of the year, 1,570. And by the next year, 1,600. Utilities, 486. Budget, 100 by the end of the year, 100 next year. IVA cost is the tax, as always, as I say. Security Department, Administration, 727, 562 by the end of the year, and 816 next year. Security Department, 140,912 in the budget. By the end of the year, 119,698, and for next year, 130,845. IVA again, which is the tax. Indirect cost contracts, 167,443 in the budget. By the end of the year, 156,377, and the final number for next year is proposed 158,999. Again, the tax. The total operation expenses is 941,912 for the budget of this year. By the end of the year, it will be 836,912, and for next year is 843,212. So this is all the main page of the budget for La Ventana del Mar, and all of this is additional information that is into each line of these ones. Thank you for your attention. The next item in the agenda is the proposed, let me read it here, is review and ratify proposed contract extension for golf course assessment of $469 per year for a period of 2 years. This was intended in the agenda, but this Thursday, the developer announced that this contract is finished. We are not going to vote for it because it was a decision to cancel the assessment, so all the people in La Ventana and Las Villas will not have to pay it. All of this is going to be to like a regular golf course club. There are going to be memberships. The number of money that it will cost has not been decided yet. It will be discussed by the next golf committee meeting, which is going to be in the month of November, around the third week of the month. All the numbers and proposed charges for playing golf at La Ventana del Mar Golf Course, El Dorado Ranch for sure, will be advised with enough time so the people can read it and decide if they want to become a member of the golf course El Dorado Ranch La Ventana del Mar. So right now we don't have to vote for it. During the years there has been always asking and proposing not voting anymore for it, that you don't want it, some people want it, so the decision has come. The developer says, okay, this year we are going back to the club action, let's say. Now, the next thing is all the people who have golf passes of this year, that they pay their passes or they bought from somebody else or from the golf shop, they are good until December 31st because you pay for your assessment. Whoever decides to go by the new contract that the EDR golf course is going to be proposing, you can do that at the time that the rates are going to be officially released. So we don't have to vote for this one. With this we come to the, excuse me. With this concludes the business of the ordinary assembly, but before I close it, I would like to introduce to you our lawyer, Licenciado Juan Ignacio Reyes Retana, who can give you a brief explanation of the situation that the La Ventana del Mar Association is in, so you can understand good. Here he comes.
Thank you, Roberto. Hi, good morning. My name is Juan Ignacio Reyes Retana. I am counsel for the HOA, and we wanted to answer some of the questions that you may have about the presentation or the lack of presentation by the supervisors and the information that has been distributed among you regarding the replacement of the HOA. I understand, sir, that you have some questions, and this might be the appropriate time to address those. We still have very limited information. We got only a letter from the supervisors indicated that they form a different legal entity and that they intend to inform you that you are required to pay the dues to this new legal entity. That is without legal basis. The supervisors have no authority, legally speaking, under the governing documents of the HOA to make such a decision. That belongs exclusively to you. And we still haven't seen any kind of documents or legal paperwork that will support such an allegation. I went briefly over the governing documents of the HOA. The ones that you sign when you purchase your units, consisting of the condominium regime, the bylaws of the HOA, and the purchase contract or fideicomiso, the escrituras that you have signed for, and those are very clear. You can go over them to corroborate that this is the appropriate and legal HOA. Dues are to be paid to this HOA, and lack of payment may result in collection efforts by the HOA or suspension of some of the benefits that you enjoy as member of the condominium. If you are totally within your right to participate in any kind of organization you choose to, that's totally within your discretion, but you are bound by the governing documents of our HOA and the documents that you sign when you purchase your contracts, which clearly state that you are required to pay the legal dues that are approved by this assembly. I'll be happy to try to answer whatever questions you may have on what has been distributed among you, which with the very limited information that you have, that we have.
What is your past history in
My resume?
your education?
Oh, I went to law school in Tijuana, in Mexico City, and then I worked for Baker McKenzie for about 14 years. 11 years ago, I set my own practice and I started to render legal advice to the HOA. I don't recall many of the faces, but you may recall when Cliff Ullman was the president of the HOA, he invited me to assist him with some of the legal matters of the HOA. I've been doing that since 12 years ago.
So you had 3 years in Tijuana Law School, right?
I went 5 years in Tijuana Law School, yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's 5 years.
So as an owner, here's the conundrum. I just heard from you. Tony has lawyers, and we've heard from him, and you're both saying, pay me, not them. What the hell are we supposed to do?
Go to your governing documents, to your set of documents, review them carefully. If you want to consult with private counsel, that's within your right. That will be my advice, and to make a determination to which legal entity are you required to pay. I'm confident that they will arrive to the same conclusion that I have arrived, that paying dues to the supervisor's new legal entity will not release you from your obligations to pay dues to the HOA. I find very strange and rare that the supervisory board will consider that they have the authority to change the HOA. That's not their task, their purpose. Their mandate is to supervise how the accounts of the HOA are handled, how the expenses are covered, how the dues are being ensured. It is not within their authority to replace the HOA. That is, I really have a very hard time understanding what the legal foundation for that claim will be. But again, I am counsel for the HOA. You should get your own advice, and whether and I think that that's the appropriate. If you ask me, I don't find any basis whatsoever for you to claim to be relieved from paying the HOA by the payments that you made to the other entity that allegedly was formed by the supervisor, which, by the way, we haven't seen any kind of documents on that. Was that responsive? So?
It was good from your perspective, and I get your position. So is the new organization a different HOA, or is it a different administrator?
No, there's only one HOA. The HOA takes the form of what we call under Mexican law an asociación civil. You might recognize the capital A and capital C at the end of the asociación, of the name of the HOA. Any persons can form ACs. It's a form of legal entity nonprofit legal entity which has the right to hold bank accounts, to retain employees, to conduct certain activities which are considered not for profit. Some of those are devoted to act as HOAs, and some of those are foundations for charity or maintenance of historic heritage and stuff like that. Those are very common. But the fact that they took that form, that they have that legal entity, does not in itself make them an HOA. The HOA was designated when the condominium regime was established, and if you go to your governing documents, you will see an attachment to your escritura which refers to condominium regime, which clearly state that the HOA is Asociación de Condominios La Ventana del Mar, AC, which is this one. Okay. Sure. Sure.
This is very obviously going to take outside legal determinations, I think, to determine, who's right, who's wrong. You and your staff have one belief, and Tony and his staff have another belief, so another party is going to have to decide. And that's going to take time. It would be impossible for us to pay upfront all of our HOA fees and then have it determined in the middle of the year that the other side or whatever should get that money that by then was spent anyway. So there's not going to be any refunds. So it would seem to me the logical way as individuals that we should pay our HOA fees on here is on the at least previously available monthly plan. So that if in the middle of the year the whole situation changes due to some mandatory court order that is upheld, that we've only paid in each month what we needed to pay in to the old HOA, and the remaining months would go to the new HOA. So my question is that monthly payment plan still available for us to do as individuals?
From the HOA's perspective, nothing has changed. You are bound to pay the fees and the dues that have been determined in the form and manner that has been customary, has been agreed upon and resolved by you. You should continue to pay those. If you fail to make those payments according to the plan that you have agreed upon with the HOA, some of the services that are rendered by the HOA will be suspended to you until you become current. We still do not have all the information pertaining to the allegations made by the supervisory board. And I'm totally confident that 6 months will not suffice to have a court determine which one is the appropriate one. And this is without knowing what kind of documents they have or they allege they form. What I can tell you is that all the benefits and the services that are rendered by the HOA will be suspended if you fail to make the payments. You will be deprived of the voting rights or the participation in the bodies of this assembly decide, and that will be a shame. Services will deteriorate if you choose to either hold payment or to pay the supervisors instead of paying the HOA.
I understand that, but it doesn't answer my question. Historically, there was a plan where an individual can pay their HOA dues monthly, so long as by the end of the year, of course, it's all caught up and everything is paid. Yeah. So my question was, and maybe you're not in a position to answer it, but that we could still pay on a monthly basis. And what I'm saying is, from my point of view, that would be the logical way and the safest way to make this year's HOA payments.
Can you confirm that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, as a lawyer mentioned, nothing changes in the HOA. This has been doing forever. If the people decide to pay monthly, they can do it. Because in the same way you can pay directly to Concord or you can pay in our office monthly, there's no problem. It's the same situation.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sorry, go on. If there are more questions, please.
Sir, you wanted to make a question? No? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's for the lawyer or, okay, or for you, but I'm still a little confused on the golf course dues. In other words, it says in here for the next 2 years, if you're a resident of La Ventana del Mar, it's $469. Is that not right?
At the time that the agenda was made, the decision was not done about the assessment. The assessment was a contract that was signed by the residents of La Ventana del Mar, HOA, and the developer. So this agreement was proposed in the beginning for 4 years, but on time it went along going 2 more years and 2 more years and 2 more years. This year, the developer decided to finish it, and that's it. So, and there have been, like I say in the beginning, complaints. Oh, I don't want to have that one. I have to sell it. I have to pay $469. I sell it at $150. It was the choice of any person who wants to sell at any price. And some other people say, no, I like it. For $469 between 365 days in a year is 1.30 cents per game. So there was people who like it, there was people who doesn't like it. So right now the decision was to finish it, to finish that back and forth, and from now on it will be like a golf club, country club, let's say. So the people will come in and say, I want to play. Okay, if you want to play by the day, this is the rate, whatever it will be. Let's say, no, I won't say any number because then everybody say, Roberto said that it was going to be this. So no, whatever number it will come up, we will notify, well, the golf committee with the developer will got an agreement, and it will be publicized how much to play by day will be. If you want to become a member of the golf club, then you will have to pay an annuality, but there will be available, I suppose, plans for 6 months, for example. It could be single, wife and husband, or husband and wife, the way you hold.
Okay. Okay. So, but what you're saying is that the 469 for next year is not happening.
No, no. It is the people pay each year $469.
Right.
Right now, you pay in January or February or whatever. You have the right to play golf until December 31 with that assessment. January 1st, you will have to pay the new prices.
And we don't know what that is. We have no idea.
Not yet. We will announce it. Well, the company and the golf committee will announce it on before, for sure, 1st of January. Maybe, let's say, by the mid of December, it will be published for everyone to know on time, so people can decide what they want to do.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Now another question for.
I used to park my trailer over in the parking lot next to the dog park. And I took it out and used it, and I can't put it back because they said the developer don't want me to use it anymore.
To use which park?
No, by the dog park. I didn't switch park, I just took it out and used it. And then they're not letting any development.
Put it in, close to your mouth because we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You used to have a dog park. You have the dog park, and you had the parking lot over there on the south side.
Yeah.
I took my trailer out, used it, tried to put it back in, and they said no. The developer don't want to use it. Where can I park my trailer now?
Well, as a matter of fact, the thing is this: in the beginning, it was allowed by the developer to have storage there. but it's a liability because as soon as he receives something in there, he becomes responsible for what it stores. So it's not a business. You were not paying any money for that. So what he decided is, well, if you have to store your cars, your RVs, your whatever, trailers, please do it in a storage, commercial storage, and then we'll be responsible for your assets. That's why it was the decision. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Any other question related with this? Over there.
Okay, I pay my dues to where I normally pay them. 6 months in, the judge decides in favor of the other side. You have to turn over by law. On my question, do you have to turn over by law the remaining dues to the new management?
No,
So we have to pick who we want to pay.
no, you have to pay the HOA.
If you lose in court, do you get to keep the money?
Yes,
You're kidding me.
no.
So you lose in court after 1 month, we're out 11 months.
The situation is the following. Those dues that you're paying and your governing documents to the HOA are devoted to the maintenance of the condominium regime. Those are consumed in the maintenance of the daily basis. Up at the point in time that an HOA is replaced, they take over at that point, conceptually speaking. So you are going to be paying for things that are being consumed and expended on the time. If within a year or 2 years, which is highly unlikely, there's a replacement of the HOA, then you start paying from that point on. And let me tell you something else. Many of the amenities that you enjoy are owned by the developer, not by the HOA. Okay? So to follow that track of thought, the quotas that you pay are legally owned by the HOA. It has the mandate by law to devote those to the maintenance of the condominium. Okay? This is a new entity. Even if there is a replacement, that will not take place retroactively. And those quotas that you have been paid to this HOA, to the HOA, the actual HOA, those are to be devoted to the maintenance. They have not to be turned over to someone else's because they claim that they are the ones entitled to maintain or continue with the maintenance of the condominium regime. Okay?
But, okay, we're 6 months in. Just humor me for a minute.
Sure.
6 months in, and the court says they're allowed to change management companies. The old management company gets to keep the other 6 months' worth of dues that haven't been spent yet.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you are members of the HOA. Yes, correct? No, you are the HOA. If you decide at that time and at that point, if you decide that the resources of the HOA are to be handed over to a new entity, that will be your call. There are some limitations. It has to be an entity that is done for profit. It has to be an entity devoted to the maintenance of the condominium regime, but that is within your right, not a judge down the road saying that they are entitled to claim those quotas. Yes? No, not a court. No. The difference is not a court order. It's a resolution by the General Assembly of the HOA. Okay? It's on you guys. Yes?
So the gentleman in the back just more or less mentioned what I was going to say. We have not, and may not, I don't know, voted in a new HOA. So it won't be our decision where the money goes. It will be the court's decision. And again, this question on what happens 3, 6, 9, whatever months from now is not based on your opinion or the other side's opinion. I'm talking about it being based on, I don't know the Mexican court, system, but whatever highest court would be necessary that may make a decision contrary to what you feel it should be or contrary to what they feel it should be. And I understand the money is spent as you go. So the first half of the money paid, if this should happen in 6 months, will be gone. So it can't be transferred to the new entity. But my point, and I think other people's points were that plan on paying 100% up front. My point was, it seems to me the logical thing to do is pay monthly so that whatever number of months the current HOA is in control, they got their money. And if the new group comes, they'll get their money. So it's sort of, you also mentioned the difference between the developer and the HOA. And I think a lot of people don't really know that, especially people that are here new, that the golf course is a developer's golf course. It's not an HOA golf course. The pavilion, this building and so forth, and all the area around it is the developers. The restaurant is the developers. The liquor license is the developers. The pool, Palapa Pool, and restaurant and bar is the developers. So these are amenities that we all take advantage of, but we're not paying for out of HOA dues. The developer pays for the personnel working here, pays the taxes and so forth in the building. I assume pays a proportionate share of CFE and so forth of the pavilion, pays for the water. The water here is not free. Pays for the water of the golf course, the maintenance of the golf course and so forth. And engineering department, I guess the building, I think, is Pat's. So there's a lot of expenses that he has. So I say that in the question that should money from heaven not show up, and the developer not get sold off what he hopes to be able to do. When the golf course fee was first imposed, it was imposed, so we were told, to offset 50% of the actual cost, whereas the developer would still pay his half and we would pay our half in order to maintain the golf course. Because without that, this side of the El Dorado Ranch would have no advantage over the other side. In fact, it'd be quite ugly without the golf course and if it were all just sand. So it was very important to do that. So my question is, without that golf course fee, it's my assumption that's due to a hope and desire and so forth that situations change around here to where somebody buys or whatever the golf course. But should that not happen, and without those fees being paid, does the HOA have the authority to pull an emergency meeting and give us the opportunity to vote on reinstating some sort of golf course fee rather than have our golf course go to shit? So that's the question. Can this thing be revived? Should it be absolutely necessary sometime during the year? Because I don't see enough money coming from other sources, frankly, to maintain this golf course to the level that it is now, because it's looking very, very good.
Okay, there are two issues raised in your comments, and the first one that I want to address is following up what the gentleman in the back said. And I want to make this very clear. The HOA is a legal entity that owns the quotas and the fees that you pay. Are we clear on that? The legal owner of all the money that you pay the HOA is the HOA. The direct body that determines what to do with that money is the General Assembly and instructs the administrator, and it is supervised by the Board of Supervisors. What we understand the allegation by the Board of Supervisors to be is that they decided to terminate this HOA and to form a new entity that will replace this HOA. Now, If that goes to court, it will be for the control and the access to the maintenance of the condominium regime. It does not have a claim against the quotas and the fees and the dues that you pay to the HOA. Those will not be subject to any judicial determinations because those are legally owned by this entity. The destiny of that money, of those resources, regardless of any judgment determining who controls and administrates the common areas and the common services and who does the maintenance of the condominium regime, regardless of that determination, the owner of those resources are you guys, is the assembly of the HOA, okay? So I wanna make that clear. In terms of what is owned by the developer, it is up to an agreement between the developer and the HOA. The specific question that you posted regarding, or that you made regarding the golf course, it is my understanding that some of the members were not happy with having to pay for an assessment that allowed them to use the golf course if they don't golf, okay? And they say this is make it mandatory to pay an assessment, and we don't want to do that. The developer determined, okay, I'm going to make that non-mandatory, but voluntary. It's not part of the dues and quotas that you're going to pay to the HOA, but you can go to the golf course, to the golf administrator, to the developer, and buy a membership to enjoy the golf course, and as you were doing it in a very similar fashion as you would do it as part of the quotas. To what extent, if there is a determination by this assembly that they want to reinstate the original setting, the original agreement with the developer to have this assessment reinstated to provide resources for the maintenance of the golf course, that will be a determination